Hey guys, it's AJ from Design the Everything. Today I'm going to show you how to use Fusion 360 for woodworking projects. Specifically, we're going to be designing a stand for a bench grinder. I just finished the design for a workbench for my lathe. I've never done any turning before, but I was just given a lathe for Christmas and the lathe tools for Christmas. So in order to be able to sharpen those tools easily, I got a bench grinder. Now that bench grinder needs a place to go. I didn't have enough room on the wall that my workbench for the lathe is going, so the bench grinder is getting its own stand. But in this video, I want to show you the process of how you can use Fusion 360 to design a project that you can easily build with traditional woodworking methods, not 3D printing, not CNC. A lot of guys do this in SketchUp, I think because the learning curve's a little bit shorter, but the tools within Fusion are so much more powerful and in the long run, easier to use and faster that I think it's worth it. So let's go over here to Fusion. So I'm going to start off by making a 2x4. Like with anything you're making, anytime you're designing something to be done in CAD, you want to design it the same way you're going to build it. It keeps you from making dumb mistakes, like trying to machine an internal pocket or trying to 3D print something that's bigger on the top than it is on the bottom. So when we're doing woodworking stuff, we want to do it just like we're gonna like you're gonna actually make it. So we're gonna start with the actual lumber, and then we're going to shape it to however we want from there. So there's the profile. I'm going to extrude that out. I hit E for extrude, click on that, and let's make it 8 feet. Just type 8 and then FT, and that converts it to feet. Let's actually start by bringing in our bench grinder. So I'm going to come to, this is a website called GrabCAD, where they have a bunch of pre-existing CAD models. And I'm going to find one that looks about like my bench grinder. It's a Craftsman, an old one. Looks good to me. So I'm going to click that one. You do have to make an account, but it's free and pretty easy. And I'm going to unzip this. So now we can go back to Fusion. So to insert this file, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the Show Data Panel button, the 9 squares there, the Cloud Upload button, select Files. I'm going to go to my Downloads and open up that folder. Then we want the STEP file, the STEP file. And then hit Upload and wait for that. So that bench grinder file is taking a surprisingly long time to load. I don't really know why. But we'll just come back to that later. I'm going to close this off and we can go on without it. So we have our 2x4. Now we're going to start cutting this thing down to size. So I'm just going to come over here, make a plane, and move that back. Let's do 32 inches, which that's basically just a little bit higher than I think a normal workbench will be, or it will be once we have the rest of this on. Hit OK, and then go to Modify. We're going to cut. There's a couple here. There's a split silhouette, split body, split face. We want split body. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click the splitting tool as this plane and hit OK. And now this is a separate piece. We can go up here to Modify and Move, or this is the M button as the hotkey. We'll use that later. And we can slide that off to the side. So there's our first leg there. Let's go ahead and do that same thing. I'm going to turn off this other plane, and we're going to do another leg. So let's do that, 32 inches. Hit OK. And cut that, split body. I'm going to hit M for move, click on that, and drag that over. Cool. Now we're going to make these all separate components. So I'm going to select them and go to Create New Component. So it's going to be from bodies, and we're going to select that and that. Hit OK. And now we have multiple components. You see that I can select them different. And then this is another one that's already separate. So with those as separate, we can do, we can assemble them, which we'll do a little bit later. Before we do that here, let's wrangle these in a little bit. I'm going to hit move, click on it, drag it. Okay, and different view, M for move, click on it. All right, there we go. Now they're just a little bit more together. And let's go see how much left we have the 2x4. So I'm going to hit I for inspect, and I'm going to click on one of these edges. And so it says we have 32 inches left. Now, not all 2x4s are actually 32 inches long in reality, and plus we've lost 2 kerfs of our blades. So this is actually a little bit under 32, so I'm not going to use that piece, but I'm going to duplicate all of these. Now, in real woodworking, you can't just control paste boards. That would be really handy sometimes, but that only works in CAD. But we know that we can cut these 3 boards and end up with a real board, with real boards that are possible, and we aren't losing any, kerfs or whatever. So this is possible to do, and it's just a matter of doing it twice. So I feel comfortable just doing a create pattern, rectangular pattern, and choose a direction. I'm just going to choose that way and drag that off in the distance. I only want 2 of them. There we go. Now we have 4 legs. Now, some of these, when I copied, we ended up with 2 different bodies, which is kind of annoying. So let's try making those into new components again. So from bodies, we're going to select the bodies, select all of those, hit OK. All right, now we can assemble them again. There's our 4 legs. Now we need the some supports or a top. So I'm going to start off by making the top part. This will be probably 3/4 inch plywood because I have some of that lying around. So I'm going to start a new sketch, and let's just create a piece of plywood here. I don't really know how big this needs to be yet. So I'm just going to make it, let's just make it 16 by 16. And hit E for extrude, extrude that by 0.75. All right, so there's our top. Let's see if our bench grinder has finished loading. It has not. Apparently it failed. I'm going to try to re-upload that, see if it works this time. Oh, yeah, see, it's failed. Hopefully this one will work. There must be something wrong with this file. Fusion is just not taking it. I'm going to go back and open up Chrome here and find a different bench grinder. And we'll see if we can get that one to work. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. That file worked. It's a weird file format. It's an IGS, which I've never used much. The step files normally work for everything, so I don't know why they're not working. I'm going to close that off and drag in this bench grinder here, and there we go. It does look a little bit small. I'm going to go run and measure mine, and we can scale this one to size. All right, measuring mine. All right, so mine is 12 inches wide, almost exactly. I'm going to hit I for inspect and click on one side of this and then the other side of this, and it's saying it's 8 inches. So you can't just scale an assembly like you can other parts, unfortunately. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work here. We're going to have to choose break this link. I'll get rid of that little chain there. And click on that, click the activate component. Now we're just working on this assembly. And oh, there we go. And now select that and modify scale. And what we did is select all of the different parts. So it was from 8 inches and it needs to go 12 inches, so that's 1.25 scale. Hit OK. And it got a little bit funky, but it still looks like a bench grinder. I'm going to go I for inspect, click there to there, and about 12 inches. So it looks stupid, but that's the right size now. I'm going to unactivate that, or go back up here and activate that. There we go. So now this is the right size. Now we can go ahead and shape this piece of plywood here until it's the right dimensions for this bench grinder, which I may have accidentally scaled in the process. So I'm going to hit I for inspect. We'll see if this got longer. Yeah, so that went to 20 inches. I'm going to change that. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to shift click on this body here. There we go. And now it's the same size, back to 16 inches. Let's see if we can make that a little bit tighter. We might be able to pull off 12 by 12. 12 and 12. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to go to the top view, and now I'm going to hit M for move. Move that right underneath there. Hit OK. And actually, let's go ahead and make this another component. So we're going to go to Create, New Component. I'm going to click on, there you go, from Bodies. Click on that base there. So that's a new component now. I'm going to hit M for Move so I can move it away from the grinder. And now we're going to assemble everything back together. I'm going to go ahead and do a constraint to constrain this bench grinder to that plate. So I'm going to do it a joint. I'm going to click on the center point of that plane and then see if we can find the center point of that plane. That didn't quite work out well, so I'm going to slide that down and get it so they're touching there. I'm going to hit OK, and this is rigid, so that's just stuck there. All right, there's our top surface. Let's go ahead and do some legs. So with our 4 legs here, let's go ahead and put a miter on the top of those. So I'm going to click on that, or actually here, I'm going to do a plane at an angle. I want to do it to each corner, and let's do it 5 degrees. I'm going to hit OK, and then come up here, and we're going to split that. So since I'm using the split command so much, we're going to come down here. I'm going to click on this little arrow, and that puts it right here in our toolbar. So there's not a hotkey for it, but now I can just hit split body up here, and that saves us a couple mouse clicks and trying to find the right one on the menu. And now that I just made that, I'm going to right click on that on the body over here. So you see here when I hover over this, it highlights the body in blue over here on the tree. So I'm just going to right click on that one and hit remove. Not delete, but remove. So I'm going to do the same thing, exact same thing over here. I'm going to make a plane by an angle, and I'm going to put that up here on the bar too. So make a plane at an angle with that 5 degrees. Okay. Split, body, tool. Okay, and repeat. All right, so now we have those miters cut. We have that size. Let's go ahead and assemble that. First, I want to turn off these annoying planes. So I'm going to come over here and just click all the light bulbs to make those go away. Now they're less cluttered. Then I'm going to do an assemble, and I'm going to hit the joint button, J for joint. So we want to do a planar constraint and click on the center of one of those, and then on one of the corners here. And it's showing that it can move. Just ignore that little animation. But once you have that plane joint in, you can adjust it with these sliders. Just get it where you want it. Now you could probably make this more precise, but it doesn't really need to be. There's no reason to go to 1/1000th of an inch when you're just doing some woodworking. So, oops, I got to add that before I meant to. So I'm going to come down here, double click on that again, and so let's make that 0.75. There we go. And there's our first leg. So, oops, still a little bit off there. Let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to go back down here, double click on the joint, and slide that. Looks like that should be a negative 1.75. There we go, close enough. Hit OK. And there is our first leg. You can see it's angled out a little bit, which will make it a little bit more stable. And I'm just going to do all the other legs the same way. I put this leg on upside down. I have to go back and fix that now. So I'm just going to delete the joint and then redo it. All right, so there's the 4 legs. The bench grinder here moved off of it, but oh well, it doesn't really matter for the design anyway. But now you see it wouldn't sit level on the floor, so we can go ahead and fix that. We can do a plane and an angle to this corner here, and that'll be a negative 5-degree angle because our 5-degree angle last time. Hit OK. And now we're going to go back up here to our favorite split bodies command, and we're going to split all 4 of these from that one plane. So now that those are cut, we can just, well, let's first start by hiding that plane, and now we can just hide all of these little corners here. So just hit where it says show hide, which the hotkey for that is V for visible. There you go, and now they're all gone. So it'll sit flat on the floor. Still needs some more support though. So let's run, so it needs some more support on the table first. So let's start by building this up a little bit. So let's do an angled piece that'll fit in here. So let's look at it from the bottom. I'm gonna hit I for inspect and click on that line to that line. And that is 4.87 inches. I think 5 inches will be good enough, and that's at the top of the miter. To make this a miter cut, we're going to go and create a new sketch on the top here. Too difficult to do it with all these planes. And I'm just going to hit sketch, project geometry, project, and include all of the sides. Make sure you don't click on that line right there, which is the edge between the fillet and the flat part. Make sure you click on the outside. Okay, I'm going to do a line up, and I'm going to hit tab, and so that should be 175 degrees. Hit OK. And come out over here, do another line, hit tab, 175. Then I'm going to hit D for dimension, and I'm going to hit D for dimension. I'm going to dimension from there to there. And that needs to be, what was it, 4.8. Let's bring that down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit T for trim. There we go. That'll fix our issues. Let's try to dimension that again. D for dimension, there to there, and 4.83 or something. Let's go back and check. I for inspect, from there to there. 4.98. Yeah, we'll just call that 5. So back over here, 5. If it doesn't fit, you can always cut it down later. Our angles are still good. All right, let's hit E for extrude and find our profile. It's hiding on the other side. Click on that profile, and we want an intersection. So come up. So our body still didn't turn out right here. There we go. We can click on those other, still projected in that line for some reason. Hit OK. And there's our piece. So now let's go ahead and make sure that's a different component, new component, click on it, okay. I'm gonna hit M for move, click on that, drag it over here, okay. I'm gonna right click on it, hit create component from body, and now we can hit J for joint, and we're gonna do a planar contact again. I'm gonna click on that plane and this over here, and then wait for it to stop jiggling, and now we can get that fitted in. And we're happy with it, hit OK. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cheat and pattern this one over. So I'm going to do a create pattern, rectangular pattern. I've already selected that. Directions, click on the top here. I only want 2 of them. And the distance is, I believe, 12 inches. So actually we need a little bit less than that, probably 1.5 inches less. So I'm going to hit minus 1.5. And now it should be in the right spot. So now we need to go ahead and put in this cross brace. I'm not going to do a bevel on the side. I'm going to hit I for inspect, and we can measure this. It is 9 inches, which isn't surprising because we have 12 minus 3. So I'm going to do a construction plane, move it over 9 inches, hit OK, split that. And let's go do another one from the other side. There you go, 2. I'll find it over here. I'm going to right click and hit create components from bodies, find this one, right click, create components from bodies. And let's go ahead and move these in. So I'm going to hit M for move and drag that one closer. Now I can go ahead and hit J for joint. Again, we're doing this all as a plane. And click on that. And OK. And get this rotated to how we want it. Hit OK. And let's go ahead and copy that one over. So create pattern, rectangular pattern. We want a direction, which will be that way. And move it over again. We want 2 of these, and we want it probably going 9 inches. Actually, looks like we want a little bit less. Try 8.5. Hit OK. Oops, it put a third one in there that we don't need. So I'm going to go back down here to our tree, double click on it, and hit quantity 2. Try that again. There we go. Now there's just 2. So now we just need braces between the legs. So let's go ahead and build basically a box down here. Let's figure out how big our box needs to be. I'm going to hit I for inspect. There to there is 9 inches on the bottom. Let's make a new board. Let's see, we need 2 9 inches. We need another one that's 9 inches. And then actually, if we, let's think this through a little bit better. So let's hit I for inspect, and let's measure from center point to center point here. So that's 8. We want it probably falling in the center of this, so can we measure? There we go. So I'm going to hit I for inspect, center point to center point there. That's where 12 is. And since we're going to be adding two 2 2x4s on each side, we actually only need, this can be a little bit smaller. So actually, doing 4 things of 9 inches is going to work fine. And now we can assemble these. So I'm going to hit J for joint. Oh, first we need to make these all separate components. So these are all them here. I'm gonna right click, create component from body, create component from body, create component from body, create component from body. All right, now I can hit J for joint. And we want to do a planer on this side here from that side there. Let it stop dancing. All right, now we can get these lined up. So there's our box. I do have to say, I am disappointed with Fusion's Fusion 360's assemble commands. They're really terrible. This is something that Autodesk Inventor does a much better job at. Doing these assemblies is 1,000 times quicker. But Fusion 360 is free, so we can all use it. All right, we got to do the rest of these joints, so I'm gonna click on that plane, which we're gonna bring to that plane. So now we got to try to rotate that. And let's move it down a little bit. Let's see if we can change how these, well, let's first get our poor stray angle grinder here. Select it, M for move. And, oh look, the wheels aren't going with it. That's odd. Go to our top command. The wheels seem to actually be going backwards of everything else. Do not ask me why. I'm just gonna delete all those or hide them. Well, that changed our angle grinder even more. Apparently that file wasn't very good. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. I'm going to have some videos up over on that side of the screen there that you might also find interesting. If you want to see the rest of my videos as they come out, please subscribe. Oh, and if you have any questions or requests for future videos, just leave them down in the comment section. Thank you.